This is iPad 201. Welcome to Virtual Technology Conference number 16. I have more information available during this presentation than the 50 minutes allows, but I want you to know that a program printout is available that covers everything I'm going to talk about today, and it's available off the APCUG website. What I will be covering today is settings that we can make on iPad, iPhones, some quick access features, talk a little bit about Siri, some maintenance, and tips and tricks. I'm using a program called AirServer, which allows my iPad to be mirrored onto my laptop computer. I'm also running iOS 8.4.1. So let's start out with looking at what we can see in settings. And if we open up settings, it comes up and we scroll down a little bit on the left-hand side and you see airplane mode. Airplane mode turns off both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth when you have airplane mode on. It also allows you to charge your device quicker if you turn airplane mode on and both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are disabled. Next, let's talk about Wi-Fi, and I'm going to touch Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi automatically goes out and looks for wireless internet connections within range of your device. If those connections are available, then you're going to see a list of them over here on the bigger portion of the display. My Wi-Fi is Linksys. And over here, I don't have a padlock right here just before the signal strength indicator. And that means that it's an open Wi-Fi. No passphrase or password is required. Once I am connected, I'll get a check mark here. And Linksys will show up as the name for my Wi-Fi. Do not disturb. I'm going to go down and touch Do Not Disturb on the left-hand side of the screen. And what comes up is how you can manage Do Not Disturb. It will silence phone calls, alerts, and notifications, even when your device is locked. There's two different ways that you can turn on Do Not Disturb. You can do it by opening the settings and do it like we did here, or you can bring it up from the control panel. I will cover the control panel in just a few minutes. Next, let's go down to General Settings on the left-hand side. And the screen pops up with About. And that's the first thing we want to take a look at, About. The name you see there is the name that I have given to this iPad that I'm using, and it will always display the name you've given to your device. The number of songs, videos, and photos is being searched right now on my device, and it will display a number. I have 31 applications. The capacity of this iPad that I'm using is 32 gigabytes, but Apple has taken away about 23% of it for the operating system and other programs that are necessary to make the iPad or other device work. So my capacity is lowered to 27.4, and because I have 31 applications, my available capacity is 19.8. As you can see, the next line says version. I'm running 8.4.1, and after that I have model number and serial number. It is important for you to write down the model number and serial number of your device someplace else besides on your device, because if your device becomes lost, stolen, or strayed, you can get help if you can identify your device. And you identify it by your model number and serial number. Next, I want to go down and I'm going to go back to General. And up here at the top where General is in blue, you can see an arrow pointing to the left. You touch that and it means you go back. Next thing we're going to do is go to Software Update. And when you touch Software Update, it will in fact search out on your device and tell you if there is an update available from Apple to your operating system. So you need to check this periodically and make sure you have the latest software. When you're doing an update to your iOS, to your operating system, you must in fact plug your device into the power source. The reason for that is some software updates are in fact large. They can take a long time. And if your device runs out of battery power while you're trying to do an iOS update, you can have a real problem. If you're going to update apps on your device, you can do that with your battery power. But software updates, please plug it in. We go back to General again and go down to Siri. And here's where you control Siri on your device. Now, not all devices out there in the market right now have Siri available to them. But if you do have it, then you're going to have Siri here in your General, and you can turn it on and turn it off. You can allow, hey Siri, because I'm plugged in. Now, you have to be connected to power to use Hey Siri. And to use Siri at all, your device must be connected to either the internet or 3G, 4G data link. That's wireless. I'm going to come back to Siri later. Let's go back and touch up General again and go back, and I want to take a look at usage. So we scroll up a little bit on the right-hand side and we go to usage. And usage has 3 different categories: battery, storage, and iCloud. Let's first take a look at battery usage. And when I touch the line where you see the arrow pointing to the right over here on the side, and when I touch that line, that means I'm going to get more information. And it says my usage since the last charge has been 12 hours and 26 minutes. I've been in standby since the last charge of 2 days and 8 hours. And you can see there is a listing down below of battery usage and which apps I have on my device that have used the most of my battery. I can get that for the last 24 hours, or I can get that for the last 7 days. And of course, battery life suggestion comes up and says, reduce my brightness. So if your battery is running down quickly, reducing brightness can help out a lot. If I take Real Solitaire and I say it's using 43%, then I want to save more of my battery, quit playing so much solitaire. Let's go back to usage again and go down to storage. And this is storage on my device. The storage category says I've used 7.6 gigabytes. I have 19.8 available. And how do I manage that storage? I touch the manage storage line, and this brings up a list of all of the apps that I have on my device that are in fact using up my device storage. And if I would want to get rid of some of those, then I can touch, as an example, Microsoft Word, and it says delete the app, and I would save 8.8 megabytes of storage space on my device. If in fact you go through the steps of deleting certain apps that you have on your device, be aware of the fact that they leave your device, but they only go up to your iCloud account. And then you can download them in again anytime that you want. The third category under storage, of course, is iCloud. And as you can see, I have a total storage of free 5 gigabytes, available 4 gigabytes. That means I'm using 1 gigabyte of storage in my iCloud. And I touch the iCloud line, and it comes up and it says, my iCloud photo library is using 702 megabytes. My backups are using 209. My documents and data, 34.3. And my mail is using 103 kilobytes. Here's where you can monitor and make some changes if you so desire to give your storage up in iCloud some more room. I can also change my storage plan, as you can see on the bottom in blue. And when you click on that, it's going to give you the option to buy more storage from Apple. If in fact, I want to find out what I'm storing on my phone, my iPhone, then I touch that, and the latest backup was yesterday. It was 95.9 megabytes, and I can delete that backup if I want to. Going back to manage storage, I can also touch Jere's iPad, and it says my latest backup was at 2:53 p.m. The backup size was 113, and the things that I'm backing up are listed here, or can back up are listed here, and I turn on or turn off what I want to back up to the iCloud. And as you can see, I've made quite a few different selections here. You need to go in and make those selections yourself. Moving right along. After usage, we want to talk a bit about background app refresh. And I touched the background app refresh line, and it brings up a list of all of the devices that I have, all of the apps that I have on my device that may want to do background app refresh. And of course, I've turned it off because allowing apps to refresh with the latest information uses up horsepower, and it can also drain my battery. Apps run for a period of time after you set them to a suspended state, and when you do that, you need to, in fact, straighten it out. If I go offline just a second and I touch my home button twice rapidly, what we get is a list of all the apps that I still have open. And I can close these apps out, or I can use this to go quickly back to an app that I was just on. So if I want to close out this thing here, if I want to close out this, I just hold it and drag it up to the top, and it closes that app out. And this way, I have nothing running in the background, or I can go back to my normal home screen. Getting back into settings, general, and now I want to talk a little bit about keyboard. So we scroll up a little bit and we go to keyboard, and I touch the keyboard line. And as you can see from this, I have 2 keyboards available to me. There is some 27 different languages that you can pick from the keyboard. That's an app telling me that I got an email, an alert rather. Anyway, auto capitalization, correction, spelling, caps, predictive, split keyboard. I don't like that. Shortcut, yes, I want it. And enable dictation. I want that too. My 2 keyboards are, I touch the keyboard line, English and emoji. And now I'm going to show you, I can also add other keywords if I so desire. I'm going to show you what emoji is. I go to my home page, I go to email, I say I want to write an email. I go down here to the spot where, in fact, I would put in the email body, and as you can see down at the bottom, I have emoji, and I touch that, And there's all those little symbols that you can add to your emails or to your documents as you're using the keyboard. I want to go back to the regular keyboard. I touch ABC and it goes back. And the predictive part of the keyboard is right here between the keyboard itself and the message body. And if I want to shut predictive down, I put my stylus there and drag down. If I want to open it up, I put my stylus right on the line and open it up. Yep, it's a little tricky sometimes. Come on. There you go. And I'm back to predictive. All right. Getting out of mail. Going back to settings. Shortcuts. When I go to keyboard and I go back to shortcuts, you can make up any shortcut that you want. I have made these shortcuts up on my iPad mini. And if you want to add one, then you go up here to the upper right-hand corner and you touch the plus sign and then you can add another shortcut. These are shortcuts that I use. Now, these shortcuts mean that if I am typing from the keyboard and I put in LOL, it's going to predictive come up and say, do you want LOL or lots of love? LOLD, do you want LOLD or lots of love, Dad? And you touch which one you want, and it goes into whatever you're typing. When it comes to dictation or to Siri, be aware of the fact that anything you say into your device is going to go to Apple and come back as typed text. So I'd be extremely careful about what you're saying when you're doing dictation or when you're using Siri. You don't want to get a bad reputation, and you don't want somebody knocking on your door that shouldn't be there. Next thing I want to talk about is right down at the bottom of the screen, and it's called privacy. And privacy is very important to me. I like my privacy. And location services are available. I have them on, and if I take a look at contacts, I touch contacts, and these are the 5 apps that I have on my device that want access to my contacts list. And I go, no. Going back to privacy, I go down to photos. And these are the 4 apps that I have on my device that want access to my photos. And I say yes. So you need to go in here and make these settings yourself in all the categories that come up if you have location services on. Scrolling all the way down to the bottom, we see advertising. I touch advertising and it says limit ad tracking, and I have that on because I do want to limit ad tracking. And reset advertising identifier, basically what this does is it throws out all of the anonymously gathered data about a device and starts fresh, removing any of the targeted data that has been accumulated on your device. Once you confirm that you're going to do reset advertising identifier, then in fact, the iOS regenerates a new random blank ID for your device. Okay, let's talk about some quick access features that you have on your iPad. The first I want to talk about is Spotlight Search. You want to look for something. And what you need to do is put your finger or your stylus right here in the middle of the screen, not on an app, and drag down slowly, and up comes Spotlight Search. And whatever you type into Spotlight Search, it's going to go out and it's going to look for it. It is not case sensitive, meaning you don't have to put capitals in there or anything else like that. It searches the internet, it searches your mail, it searches your contacts, it searches your calendar, plus or minus 1 year, it searches your iMessages, it searches almost everywhere. If you have a lot of apps on your device and you want to find an app that you've misplaced, you type it in right here as an example, WORD, and it says I have an application called Microsoft Word, which is free, by the way. Marcy Palmer had a message to me that said any word on grandmother, and I can search the web or search Webipedia. To get rid of Spotlight Search, you just tap the screen and you'll go back to your home page. The next quick access is Control Panel. And again, you go off screen, below Mail and Calendar down here at the bottom, and drag up slowly. And up comes the Control Panel. And the Control Panel is a quick way that you can make adjustments to your device so that, in fact, you can control it, not disturb a meeting you're in, shut the music off, turn the volume up, adjust the brightness, put in airplane mode, turn on Wi-Fi, turn off Wi-Fi, turn on or off Bluetooth. Do not disturb is that half moon there, or check your lock rotation. To get rid of the control panel, drag it back down. The third quick access feature you have on your device is notifications. And now you start, instead of off screen on the bottom, off screen at the top, and drag down and you bring in notifications. And you have today notifications, and you have notifications in general. And as you can see, my granddaughter Leilani has a birthday tomorrow, so I got to work on that. But notifications can be sounds, vibrates, alerts, banners, or none. And we'll cover notifications quickly. So again, I drag up from the down from the top to get notifications, up from the bottom to get control panel, and I drag from the center down to get Spotlight Search. If you want to set notifications, you have to go to Settings, you have to go to Notifications, and here are all the apps that I want to notify me when something's happening. And here's the apps I don't want to notify me. And you control those by touching the line as an example and saying, there's my notifications that I want. If I'm going to do photos, I want none, or I want banners, or I want alerts. I'm just touching them to change it. And I want sounds and etc. This is how you set notifications up so that they'll come up on your device. Now, we're going to go back and talk about Siri. If your device is Siri capable, again, you have to be plugged into the internet. And Siri can perform a wide variety of functions for you, including taking notes, setting reminders, set events on your calendar, place phone calls, launch apps, play music, look up nearby restaurants and pharmacies and other businesses, find movies playing at the theater, provide answers to basic questions, and do a simple search of the web. Those are just some of the things that Siri can do. According to what I've read on the internet, when iOS 9 comes out, the new operating system, sometime this fall, they will expand the Siri capabilities. But Siri right now works with a wide variety of apps: phone, FaceTime, dictation, music, mail, iMessages, calendar, reminders, notes, contacts, world clock, timer, weather, web search, etc., etc., etc. Again, the warning: if in fact you say something to Siri, it is going to be sent to Apple, turned into some kind of data, and sent back to you. Be careful what you say. Also, if your device is turned off and then lock, and you have not set your device up correctly, when somebody picks up your device, they can find out some information about you from Siri. So you need to go into the passcode in settings, and you need to turn, first you got to enter your passcode. All right, you need to turn off passcode, you need to turn Siri on or off. You can see it right down here. When your device is locked, because if people can see, if this is turned on, people can see information about you when the device is locked, and they don't even need to have your passcode. So be careful of that. Now I want to talk about iPad, iPhone maintenance, keeping it clean so it runs smoothly. If you're going to clean your device, I highly recommend that you turn it off and you unplug it from the power source, and you use some kind of microfiber cloth or very soft cloth, and you spray a little bit of eyeglass cleaner, Windex or something like that. Just spray a little bit onto the Microsoft cloth, not onto your device, and then use that to wipe the faceplate. Okay. The faceplate on your device is oleophobic. It has an oleophobic coating which resists the affinity to oil. A lot of people don't understand that there's a difference between sleep, wake, and off on your iPad, iPhone device. When you touch the button at the top, you put it to sleep. If you want to turn it off, what you have to do is hold the sleep wake button down until you see the thing that comes up on the screen that says slide to power off, and then you can slide to power off. Why would you want to turn it off? Well, resetting your device, turning it off, does a reboot of your device. And a lot of times when you're working with your device, something doesn't seem right. The app won't come up. You can't get on the internet when you could just a while ago, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So resetting will, in fact, give you the ability to start over, because you're rebooting the device. And in a lot of cases, when something won't work and you reset it, all of a sudden it works again. Battery maintenance. Apple recommends that you go through one full charge cycle per month, and that means running your battery down to 0 and then starting it back up again. And I do this on both my iPad and my iPhone, and it helps to recalibrate the battery indicator that you have up in the corner. Mine says 38% right now. If you want to save your battery, dim the display. Keep Wi-Fi on all times, because Wi-Fi uses less power from your device than the 3G, 4G data link. Turn off background app refresher so that you're not using up battery refreshing apps that are running in the background. Choose Fetch, F-E-T-C-H. Choose Fetch in Mail. And I'm going to show you that. We're going to go to Mail here. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's go to Settings. We're going to go down here to Mail, Contacts, and Calendars. And we're going to go to APCUG, and you can see your account, and you can do all these settings for your account. But Fetch, all right, you can set how often you do fetch, and as you see, I have push turned off. Push means that Apple's going to push emails down to your device when they come in. Fetch means when you go to mail, it's going to go out and get the information from your email box, your email inbox. So save the battery, turn off push, go to fetch, and you can select the frequency of fetch. As you can see down here at the bottom, I've got it selected for every 30 minutes. Turn off location services. Go to privacy and turn off location services. Settings, privacy, turn those location services off. Turn off Bluetooth. If you're not using Bluetooth, turn it off. You won't use up your battery so quick. Backing up your iPad. You can sign up for iCloud and you get 5 gigabytes free. After that, you can add more to it. Every time you meet these requirements, when you have an iCloud account, then you will back up. Your Wi-Fi has to be connected. Your device has to be turned on. It has to be locked and connected to a power source. And you make these adjustments by, again, going to Settings, go to iCloud, go to iCloud Backup, and turn it on. Or you can also do Backup Now. Saving space on your iPad. Saving space on your iPad is important, especially when you want to use it and there's not enough space left. So Photostream doesn't push photos over the cellular connection. It only pushes photos over Wi-Fi. And what I mean by Photostream is if you take and turn Photostream on, then in fact what you're doing is if you take a picture on your iPad, it's going to show up on your iPhone or every other device that uses the same login information. So again, we can control that by going to Settings, going to iCloud, going to Photos, and turn that off. Clearing out your iPad. Again, we go to Settings, we go to General, we go to Usage, Storage section, Manage Storage. And again, here it's going to give me a list of all of the apps that I have on my device and how much storage they're using. And there are certain apps that you can get rid of and delete, and there are certain that you cannot. Here I'm looking at my photos and camera and the breakdown of my library, my photo stream, and my shared stream. But if I go down to Kindle, I can see that I can delete that app and gain 66.8 megabytes. All right. Again, if you delete an app, it doesn't lose, you don't lose it completely. It goes to your iCloud account and it's stored there, and you can download it again anytime that you want to. If you have a 16 gigabyte device and you get that message when you're trying to do operating system update that you don't have enough space on your device to do an operating system update, then this is where you need to go and get rid of these things and then bring them back in after you've done the iOS update. A reboot. Sometimes it's very difficult for you to get your device to boot up or to reboot. And how you handle that? Very simply. There's 3 different conditions that your device is running in. It's either running, it's asleep, or it's off. And if you turn it off, then when you turn it back on, you are in fact doing a reboot. All right. Again, if something isn't operating on your device, the way you expect it to, then the best thing to do is a reboot. You can also reboot when your device is frozen by pushing down on the sleep-wake switch and the home button simultaneously and holding them both down, okay? And this will force your device to power down. After you get a black screen, then you hold down the sleep-wake button until the Apple logo appears and your device will come back up. Tips and tricks. There's a couple websites that Apple owns that are real good for tips and tricks, and all you need to do is put that in Google search and those websites will be known to you. I want to cover just a few to give you some idea of all the different things you can do with your device. Let's say there's a screen that comes up on your device and you want to save that screen because, in fact, it's going to help you troubleshoot what the problem is. So in other words, you get an error message that comes up on the screen and you go, oh my word, I've never seen this before. What can I do? If you, in fact, depress the sleep-wake button and the home button at the same time, simultaneously, don't hold them down, just press them both at the same time, you take a picture of what's on your screen. And you can see this happen. It just took a picture of what's on my screen and it put it in my photos. All right. If you want to make text bigger, you go to Settings, you tap General, you tap Accessibility. And you can tap larger text, and you can make the text larger. Block unwanted iMessages. If you are getting iMessages from somebody and you don't want to get iMessages from that person anymore, okay, while you're viewing the unwanted message, you tap Details in the upper right-hand corner. Then you tap the circle I in the upper right-hand corner. And then you scroll down to Block This Caller. And Block This Caller is right here. You touch that and you're going to block that person from sending you iMessages. We talked a minute ago about the notification center. If you want to rearrange the items in your notification center, you can do that. Go to Settings again, you tap Notifications, all right? You tap Edit, and now you notice that all of the apps that are included in my notifications have this icon off to the far right hand side, and that thing is called a hamburger. And if I want notifications of weather to be before my photos, then I just touch weather and move it up. You got to touch it right on the hamburger icon. And if I want lookout to be lower than FaceTime, then I touch it right on and move it down. And that's how you can rearrange your notifications as they show up on your notification page. And when you're finished, you say done and go back out. If you deleted an email by mistake, you can take your device and shake it and that email will reappear. And if you want to look up a word, then when you touch that word, the little black box comes up. As an example, I'm going to do Safari. I'm going to touch this word right here, drama, okay, touch it, and it says open, add to reading list, copy, you know. And if you're using a word or see a word on the internet and you want to know what the definition is, also because that was a link, it comes up differently. But if I touch another word, I can define it. No definition found. Okay. Using Siri hands-free is the last thing I'm going to talk about. And if you want to use Siri's hands-free, you have to have it connected to the power cord. And I have my iPad mini connected to a power source right now. So I say, "Hey Siri," and it works. What's the temperature in Lincoln, Michigan?
It's hot in Lincoln, Michigan, about 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
So again, if you have your device plugged into the power source, "Hey Siri" will work. Even if you just barely say it.
Which will? Bob Lindo Williams, Bill James, APCUG, David Williams, APCUG, or Lindo Williams?
Linda Williams.
Sorry, there's no work address for Lindo Williams. If you'd like to add one, you can do so from the Context app.
And that's my presentation on iPad 201. Thank you very much. Any questions, send me an email.